When it comes to kettlebell training, knowing when to level up your weight is crucial for your progress, because increasing weight too soon can lead to achy joints or even setbacks from injury. But if you wait too long, your strength progress will stall and you'll delay your progress. So what signs are you looking for, and when should you increase your kettlebell weight? That's what we'll be covering in today's video. Oh, and if you stick around to the end of today's video, I have a little something for you that I think you'll enjoy. With that said, let's dive in. First things first, it's crucial that you have prerequisite mobility and stability for an exercise before you start increasing the load for said exercise. Adding weight to an exercise you don't have the mobility for is like wiping your ass before you take a shit. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
What?
So if you can't get your arm overhead without arching your lower back in your overhead press, or you can't hit a full depth goblet squat, please do yourself a favor and address your mobility limitations before you add weight. Not only will this help you steer clear of injury, which only delays your functional strength gains, but it will also help you prepare for more complex exercises that require larger degrees of mobility as you become more advanced. Like the kettlebell windmill, for example, which requires a ton of mobility through the hips, through the shoulders, and the T-spine. So now that we've addressed mobility prerequisites, let's dive into when to up the weight. The first and most obvious time to increase weight on an exercise is with a decrease in volume. Volume being the total sets and reps, because, fun fact, there's an inverse relationship between volume and intensity, meaning that as you decrease overall reps per set, you can increase the weight, which is pretty straightforward, right? Like, you can lift more weight on a set of 3 reps than a set of 10 reps. Make sense? Cool. Now let's address a less obvious time to increase weight. Let's say you're mostly in a hypertrophy rep range, and you've been staying fairly consistent with the number of reps and sets you've been doing each workout. A fantastic rule you can leverage to know exactly when to bump the weight up is something known as the 2-for-2 rule. So if you've been doing 4 sets of 8 on an exercise, let's just go ahead and use a single arm overhead press as an example, and you can perform 2 more repetitions beyond your repetition goal for the last set for 2 weeks in a row with good form, it's time to bump the weight. Meaning, if you were planning on doing 4 sets of 8, but you were able to hit 10 reps on your last set for 2 consecutive sessions in a row, meaning 2 consecutive weeks, bump that weight up, son, it's time. However, there's something really important I need to mention specific to the kettlebell, and that is that the 2-for-2 rule only works well for grind exercises, which are exercises that you can grind through under fatigue and don't utilize momentum. These would be exercises like overhead press, floor presses, squats, single arm rows, etc. And I wouldn't recommend using this rule for ballistic exercises, which are explosive exercises with some sort of momentum component with the kettlebell. These are movements like kettlebell swings, they're movements like kettlebell cleans, and movements like kettlebell snatches. Instead, for ballistic exercises, I have a different rule, and it has to do with velocity. If you notice during these movements that you are able to get noticeably more velocity on the kettlebell during your strength work for 4 consecutive weeks, it's time to bump up the weight. But Gabe, isn't that a little subjective? Yes, it is, but it's effective, especially if you think about it on a scale of effort. So let's say your typical kettlebell effort puts you on like an 8 out of 10 on intensity. Once you've dropped 2 points on that scale and it feels like a 6 out of 10 for 4 weeks, boom, bump up the weight for your ballistic exercises. Remember, those exercises being things like kettlebell swings, they're movements like kettlebell cleans, and movements like kettlebell snatches. And remember, when it comes to building functional strength, there are really only 2 things that matter: consistency and progressive overload, meaning increases in sets, reps, or weight over time. With that said, the key to progression is finding the right balance between challenge and safety. So before increasing your kettlebell weight, assess if your current weight feels too easy, if you can maintain proper form, and if your body is ready for the next level. So if you found this breakdown helpful, drop the word kettlebell in the comments below. And if you want some time-efficient kettlebell workouts that have planned increases in volume and intensity for you, click the link in the description below for a free 7-day trial of kettlebell workouts from our Kettlebell Strength Collective, where we focus on building functional strength and mobility with time-efficient kettlebell workouts just 3 days per week. We have mobility-focused warm-ups, video technique demonstrations of every exercise, and you'll even have the ability to connect your Apple Watch, Fitbit, Garmin, and MyFitnessPal account inside the app, so you have one convenient dashboard for all of your metrics. So click that link below, grab your free 7-day trial of workouts, and I'll see you in the Kettlebell Strength Collective community, where I'll be mixing it up with the kettlebell. Till next time, stay humble, stay hungry, stay happy. See you on the next one.